Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where it's starting to get dark. We need to get out of here. It took a really long time to get Valentina where we needed to get to, and to grab the thing that we needed, but she now has it. This is the hatch here. We barely have any EVA propellant left. That's the same amount that we had before, approximately, anyway. I might have used a tiny amount. I think we had 0.31 previously, but it took so long to find it and get back. So let's go ahead and get her into the hatch. Got to be very cautious here, because we don't have much for EVA propellant. Okay, we're in. Good. Good. Excellent. So we need to get out of here quickly. But before we do, I did want to say one thing. And that is, I discovered, while Googling around, an interesting thing that I did in fact use to discover that there were two types of rocks. I was at the wrong type previously. But there's a feature that shows you where all of them are. And I did end up utilizing that for this. And afterwards, I was like, I feel like that was cheating, at least without a survey scanner. But here, let me show you exactly what it does. So, Alt F12, under Breaking Ground Surface Features, you can enable Surface Feature Finder, and it just puts this over all of the little rocks that are Breaking Ground features. I think, for right now, that is cheating. And I will own to that. I had not yet decided that at this point, and we got to get out of here before we run out of electric charge. We're gonna do that pretty soon. So let's get out. But I do feel like that is cheating, and I will own up to that right now. However, once we have surface scans done, I feel like at that point it might not be cheating. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments what your opinion on that is. And we can start developing that as a bit of a rule set for this particular playthrough. For right now, though, we need to bring Valentina, Bill, and Bob home. We do have the rock in question, the Green Moonstone, I believe. I think it's just to return it, but I did grab it. So, assuming that it properly saved that, because I did restart the game between now and then, this is a new session. We'll see. We should go ahead and stop burning right now, though, because we need to just go ahead and do this. We're well in position for this. I'll go ahead and warp to that maneuver, because we have so much DV right now. Min-miss is so minuscule. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and go to Prograde. This is a 16-second burn. And we are going to just take this up to about T-minus 8 seconds. So right about now is when we want to burn. This will put us in orbit, and then we're going to need to still grab in-space high science. Just going to... I mean, it kind of doesn't matter. We're in orbit. It's good enough. We need to grab in-space high science, so at the periapsis, let's go ahead and push this out to something like here. And that should give us in-space high, in theory, anyway. Actually, let's go just before leaving the system. Something like that. Excellent. That'll be another prograde burn, so we'll go ahead and warp to that. Excellent. And we may be missing out on a couple of EVA reports. I'm not too concerned about that right now. This is a 12-second burn, so we'll go ahead and warp to T-minus 6. There we go. And off we go. So now we just want to warp forward until we are at in-space high. This should be plenty. But I'll just go ahead and burn this last little bit here. Good enough. Okay, so we'll go ahead and warp to about here. This is going to be quite a few days in between. we start moving real slowly over here. So we are now in space high. Excellent. And we will go ahead and have Bob EVA, and he will grab an EVA report. And then hop back in. We'll grab a crew report, temperature scan, atmospheric pressure scan, mystery goo observation, and a materials study. There we go. And we'll collect everything that we can. Not everything can be stored there. Yep, as expected. Now, I want to check the Science Junior. Yep, that's locked. The mystery goo should also be locked. That's the seismic accelerometer. The mystery goo should also be locked, although it's not letting me interact with it right now. That's okay. I'm just going to quick save here, and Bob is going to hop on out, and apparently hop back in because I pressed the wrong button. Excellent. Go ahead and let go, Bob. And we are just going to float our way over here, because we need to reset these experiments. We'll restore the Science Junior. And the mystery goo containment. Fantastic. And now we'll just go right on back in. Ah! No free camera. Free camera is bad. Okay, there we go. We're back in. We'll grab another mystery goo observation and materials study, and we're just going to hold on to those, since they can't go anywhere. I mean, they could go in the re-entry module, I suppose. If we're going to do that, we're going to need to have Bob hop out again. And then he would need to, at this point, come up over here, collect the data, and restore the Science Junior. And then just come on up over here, Bob. Up a bit. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Now he's going to need to collect the data from the mystery goo containment unit and restore that as well. And then we hop back in again. I keep doing that. B. There we go. So that data is now currently contained within the re-entry module. And so we will keep these and keep their data within themselves. So at this point, we're basically ready to head back. So if at the apoapsis we were to circularize and then push just a little bit further, what does that look like for our eventual orbit? Pretty crappy, is the answer. Yeah, I'm very much not a fan of that. What if we were to do it really awkwardly, like over here? Ooh, that's awkward. At the periapsis? I mean, we could slingshot around, essentially. But what we're really going to need to do here is circularize, so that we can do this a little bit more efficiently. And that's not going to take much DV. That's good enough. That's going to be a prograde burn, and we'll go ahead and warp to that maneuver. .8 meters per second, as I apparently right-click on my production spreadsheet, instead of dragging the camera like I was intending to do. So I'm not even going to really adhere too closely to the timer here. We're just going to very gently push out that periapsis. That'll do. Okay, and now we want to exit basically going retrograde to Minmus, is how I generally want to do this. Not this time, though. That is not going to work. How about prograde? There we go. That's more like what I'm looking for. Just keep dropping that apoapsis down. At this point, we're currently slingshotting out of the Kerbal system. But that's okay. That's starting to go back up, so we're going to have to adjust this later on. This is not the most efficient approach, but we can get within 250 kilometers, so that'll be fine. We'll go ahead and warp to that next maneuver. That will, of course, be a pure prograde burn. And once we get a little bit closer to Kerbal, we'll do a radial retrograde burn and fine-tune our approach. So that should be just fine. Unable to transmit, has no connection to home. Hang on, I don't want to be warping right now. What's going on with that? Ah. Yeah, there's just no satellite in LOS right now. That's fine. It'll get there soon enough. So we want to make sure that we are... This is still the moon. We want to make sure that we're looking at Minmus. And... warp to next maneuver. There we go. There we go. Science points are coming back. Fantastic. Hi, Minmus. We are orbiting you very, very slowly. 30 meters per second. That's insane. Okay, this is going to be a 1 minute, 47 second burn. How much burn time do we have in this? Way more than that. So let's see here. 53.5 seconds, if I mathed that correctly. I believe that's when we want to burn this. Which I just overshot. That's okay. This is close enough. We're going to fine-tune it later anyway. We were already guaranteed a fine-tune of this. So, at this point, this is going to become a slingshot maneuver that we could use to gravity assist to push ourselves out of this system if we wanted to. We don't want to right now. That is something that we will want to be doing later. We did complete this contract, and we've transmitted some science. The moon is unable to transmit currently, but that will change. Okay, so at this point, all we're trying to do is get our periapsis essentially... It's quite the inclination. It's exciting. We don't really care, though. All we're trying to do is get our periapsis as low as possible. We can adjust inclination or whatever later on. Excellent. A little bit more to be done here. Yeah, we're coming in at a polar orbit for some reason. But, again, I don't really care about our inclination. We may correct it later on. We'll see what this maneuver node ends up looking like. This is good enough. Actually, I'm going to go a little more. No, that's good enough. Okay, once we get about here, this is when we want to do a radial retrograde burn, although this is going to be mostly retrograde at this point. And we'll just take this down to... I kind of don't want to re-enter quite yet. I mean, we've got so much DV. Well, nah, we can re-enter. It doesn't really matter. So at this point, this is where we start going radial retrograde. But I want to do this burn first. That's going to be a retrograde burn, and we will go ahead and warp to that. Excellent. I do want our focus to be on Kerbal. There we go. This is going to be a 1 minute, 24 second burn, which is completely fine. It'll be a retrograde burn. This is, of course, 42 seconds is when we want to burn this. So in just a couple more seconds. There we go. Hi, polar ice caps. Nice seeing you. We might actually get some new EVA reports from In Space Low. That'll be interesting. We'll have to see how that ends up. We should go ahead and stop time warp. Although I think there's a settings option somewhere. Nope. Okay, just checking. I thought that there was a setting for not stopping the time warp anytime you change biomes, but only when there's science available. I think it still works that way. But it only looks at collected experiments. Like ones that you have returned home or transmitted. Which, I mean, maybe it's just a API limitation or something. So we have tons of fuel left. Like, probably literally tons. Okay, that's about as good as we're gonna get. That's a fine approach. I like that. Right about here, we're going to want to start up a radial retrograde. Something along the lines of this. Just trying to keep our periapsis at about... At this point, we can probably drop our periapsis to 30 kilometers, while also lowering our apoapsis. Not this apoapsis, but rather this apoapsis. Then from here, continuing to retrograde burn. Very nice. That's about as efficient as we can get burning at this altitude. And we'll target 40 kilometers. Not 20. We'll target 30. Something like that. Yeah, that's a nice burn right there. Now we are definitely going to be coming in dark side like this. Maybe we should change when we're doing this burn to something more like this. Of course, that means that we'll have to essentially reset the burn. And this would just be a retrograde burn as we re-enter. And essentially circularize it kind of like that, although I don't want the slight radial burn. Yeah. That would just be a re-entry burn. That's a 2-minute burn, but that's starting at 40 kilometers. So, in reality, this would just be a surface retrograde burn as we re-enter the atmosphere, is what that would be. So, we don't even actually really care about this maneuver. We are going to try to rescue our entire lander. We're going to try to salvage all of it, which we should have more than enough fuel to do. And we will just go ahead and warp forward until we're in the atmosphere. There we go. And now we're going to start doing our re-entry burn. Fantastic, and you can tell we're in a polar orbit. That's some exciting stuff. Our apoapsis is dropping very quickly, but our speed is dropping pretty quickly too. But I wanted to get this re-entry burn going basically as early as possible because I knew this was going to be a thing. And we need to drop this speed. Our time to periapsis is... Is that increasing? It's increasing. That's a good thing. Ooh, that's a lot of heating effects. Our apoapsis is dropping fast, though. Very, very fast. Hopefully our fuel tanks don't burn off in this re-entry. This may have been a little aggressive. But it's looking okay. We want to keep at least 10 seconds of burn left, but we have so much fuel. Like, we don't care about this maneuver node. We just want to bleed as much speed as possible at this juncture. We're coming in fast. We knew that this was going to be a rapid re-entry. And if we have to, we can ditch this stage, but we're good. The heating effects are, well, the heating gauges are gone. Flying high over shores. Our speed is still up there. Of course, our thrust to weight is getting pretty bad. I don't know that we would have survived this without that re-entry burn. But as it is, this is looking pretty good. Time to apoapsis is just plummeting. Which is completely fine. Or rather, periapsis is just plummeting. Which is completely fine. Like, we're going to have drogue chutes deploying soon. We're going to be coming down over this water, so this is going to be a splashdown. Which isn't necessarily ideal. Drogue chutes are out. Main chutes will be following shortly. Main chutes are out. We still have a minute of burn on this engine. And I'm going to actually shut down that burn. We're going to extend our landing legs to land in the water. What could go wrong? Okay, we're going to physics warp down towards the surface a bit. We're going to be pretty close to the shore. Yeah, I don't actually care about flying low over the shores right now, although we could use an EVA report here, apparently. We'll wait until our chutes deploy for that, which will be shortly. There go the drogue chutes, and physics warp causes weird things to happen. The main chutes will happen soon. Right about now, the main chutes deploy. We are slowing down dramatically. Now it is safe for Bob to EVA and grab an EVA report and hop back in. Fantastic. And we'll just warp downwards a little bit here. We're going at about 7 meters per second, which I think everything here will survive hitting at 7 meters per second. But we'll still cushion it a little bit because we've got plenty of fuel left. So we'll go down to about 50 meters above the surface. Well, maybe like 75. Yeah, I'm thinking 75 based on that shadow. Okay, we'll just cushion this a tiny bit. This engine is not efficient at sea level, but that's fine. And there's our splashdown. Perfect. We do not have any of this information. Well, we can grab our crew report, temperature scan, and atmospheric pressure scan. We'd have to get rid of our mystery goo observation and materials study from in space high over Minmus, which I don't think is worthwhile here. But we can have Bob EVA, grab an EVA report and a surface sample. That's fine. And now we can just recover it. We have made it home. And this is going to be a ridiculous amount of science. Look at that. 1,773.7 science. That is insane. And contract complete, green sandstone retrieved from Minmus. That's exactly what I wanted to see. What else do we have? Science data from space around Minmus. We can do that literally right now. So let's do that really quick. The Raven 0S here, we're going to go for the 0S. Should have a thermometer on it. Oh, this is this model. Okay, we're going to need to orient ourselves to make sure that we are getting light. There we go. And then we will log our temperature. And we'll go ahead and transmit this. Allow partial. Okay, we are done. Fantastic. So we'll head on back to the Space Center. And with that, it's pretty much time to put a cut in here. I do want to check the science before I do so. Because what are we going to get here? There's so much we can get. We can grab scanning tech. What I really want to grab is the ionographer. Which this tech up here would cost 550. So we'd have to grab scanning tech. And then we can't do that without an upgrade. Can we afford to upgrade this? Ooh, that's almost all of our money. That would hurt. Okay. For right now, we're going to hold off on that. This gives us access to expandable photovoltaic panels, which would be great to have, as well as gigantors, which would be pretty useful. We'll grab that. Up over here, twitches. Yeah, we use those sometimes. And advanced fuel systems, I'm not too interested in, although that does give us a Jumbo 64 tank. We'll grab it. And in fact, I feel like we'll just go down the line here and grab all of these that we can. We couldn't quite grab all of these, but that's perfectly fine. This container module we're probably going to want before we go back to Minmus or the moon, but it's perfectly fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put that cut in, and next episode, we are going to start working on positioning a satellite in synchronous orbit of Eve. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.